change the rules in customers' favor. We put them first. That's what makes us the Un-carrier.
We've created this powerhouse company. We built the country's biggest and fastest 5G network.
We're taking our 5G network to a level that others simply can't follow.
We're unleashing innovators to build the 5G future on our network.
Thank you all. It's great to be here. I know you all were expecting my colleague Neville Ray. Sorry to disappoint you, but he was unable to make it and asked me to fill in for him, so here I am. And I'm going to try to pick up where Neville left off 3 years ago when he was here on this stage. 3 years ago was the last time this event was held in person here, and Neville was here on this stage, and he talked about the merger of T-Mobile and Sprint and how it would help accelerate the adoption of 5G in the United States. Well, it's been just over 2 years since we successfully completed that merger, and that combination is delivering on all fronts against what we said it would do. It's accelerating 5G, and it's accelerating 5G competition. And I know some people have said, well, 5G is a bit of a bust here in the US, but they certainly have not been paying attention to what T-Mobile has been doing. So I'm going to talk today a little bit about what we've been doing in this area because it's so important to the future of our economy and to our country. And I'm also going to discuss how our efforts in 5G tie into the overarching theme of today's summit, which is the importance of climate change and the adoption of powerful new 5G technologies to help promote sustainability. And then finally, I'm going to share some detail about our corporate investment and commitment to sustainability and work we've done to drive innovation and change, not only in the wireless industry, but through a wide range of industries that will help with driving sustainability across our whole economy. So let's start with where we are in 5G and what we've been up to. T-Mobile today has the largest FDD-based low-band 5G network in the world. Our base coverage layer of our network, which is using 600 megahertz spectrum, which we call extended range 5G, covers today 315 million people in the US. That's 95% of all Americans are covered with our 5G today. 1.8 million square miles covered with 5G, all by T-Mobile. And this service is using spectrum dedicated to 5G. It's not shared spectrum with LTE. It's pure 5G spectrum. And on top of that broad base layer, we have a mid-band, what we call ultra capacity 5G network that adds critical depth to that coverage layer. And today, that ultra capacity 5G covers 225 million people. And we expect to have 260 million by the end of this year and 300 million by the end of next year. Last year, we tripled the amount of land mass that we covered with ultra capacity 5G. We're going to triple it again this year. And if you think about what a huge undertaking it is in the US to go from 200 million to 300 million, just to be clear, that's 5 times the land mass in the US. So by the end of next year, we're going to have 300 million covered with our mid-band footprint. And that's really the truly transformative layer of 5G because that's what drives unprecedented wireless speeds and performance. And mid-band spectrum and the rollout of 5G and catalyzing 5G in the United States was really the centerpiece of our merger with T-Mobile and Sprint that Neville talked about when he was here 3 years ago. And we're now delivering on everything we said we would do and then some. And so when you look at network performance, you have, in terms of how we're doing today on that 5G network, which, as I just told you, is not fully built out yet. We're at 225 with our ultra capacity going to 300. More than 20 independent third-party benchmarking reports show that T-Mobile is #1 in 5G speed and availability. And that level of 5G performance and the pace, the incredible pace at which we've been rolling this out that I just described, it's changed the 5G landscape entirely. It's driven our competition to aggressively purchase mid-band spectrum, to start transforming their own 5G strategies to follow ours, and to accelerate their investment in deployment just as we've done. And these are exactly the competitive impacts we talked about 3 years ago when we were talking about putting these two companies together. And meanwhile, the associated growth and uptake on our 5G network is incredible. So let's talk a little bit about how users have used that 5G network that I just described. So today, 45% of our postpaid customers have a 5G device, and we're already at a point where over half of all traffic on our network, our overall network, is generated by those 5G devices. In 12 months, in the last 12 months, 5G traffic has increased sixfold, while over the same period, average download speeds have doubled. And our depth of capacity in 5G, this enormous network we've built, has allowed us to create what we call Magenta Max, which is the first rate plan of its kind specifically built for a powerful 5G network. And that plan is enormously popular. About 55% of new customers choose Magenta Max, which is our high-end top plan. And users on that plan are doing 5 times as much gaming, twice as much streaming, 2.5 times as much social media. So it's working. There's pent-up demand that people really are looking for greater and greater performance, faster speeds. So when people say it's been a bit of a bust in the US, that's not true for these customers. They're using it and getting a lot out of it. And that scale and capacity is driving real competition in the market. It's allowing us to reach new and underserved markets and to disrupt some established markets. So in terms of new markets, we're bringing 5G to small towns and rural areas. It's really a new area for T-Mobile generally. 40% of the country that wasn't meaningfully touched by 5G before, we're bringing it there. And to reach those markets, we're expanding our network and our distribution, and we're the only 5G game in town in many of these communities. We're also disrupting the cable industry and bringing a lot of price competition where it's very much needed, just like we did in wireless. T-Mobile is the fastest growing home broadband provider in the country with 5G home internet, which is now available to over 40 million households in the US. 13 million of those households are in rural areas. But let me repeat that. T-Mobile, the wireless company, is the fastest growing home broadband provider in the country. That's remarkable. We just last month hit our 1 millionth customer, and we're still going. That's remarkable given it's only been 1 year since we launched this service commercially. And customers love the product. They love the performance of the product, and they love the simplicity of it. You just plug it in, and you're basically ready to go. You're not ripping wires out or calling for long appointments. You can just install it yourself, and you're up and running. And we expect to have 7 to 8 million fixed wireless customers by the end of 2025. And finally, we just launched Internet Freedom, which is a new broadband offering that's aimed at smashing pain points and bringing even more competition to broadband by making it easier and more affordable than ever for individuals, consumers, as well as businesses to switch to T-Mobile. And this is a powerful example of how T-Mobile's 5G is addressing real societal issues by reaching underserved communities, enabling them to better participate in our information-fueled society. And we also see 5G is powering solutions that address the important issue of sustainability and climate change. So yes, I'm getting around now to the theme of the event. So this is an area where we all have a big role to play. And as a business, T-Mobile has made environmental sustainability a cornerstone of how we operate. In fact, we are the first US operator to commit to being 100% powered by renewable electricity and the first to announce science-based targets to get there. And today, we source 100% of our total electricity usage from clean, renewable sources. And we hit that target at the end of 2021, 4 years ahead of schedule, which is an achievement we're incredibly proud of. And that renewable energy commitment plays an important role in minimizing our carbon footprint and obviously reducing our own operational emissions from our operations. And to help reach that goal, part of our strategy is investing in 9 different wind and solar power farms that account for every unit of electricity we consume. So through these projects, which are up on the screen in front of you. We put as much electricity into the grid as we take out. And those projects also bring important economic benefits to the local communities where they exist, while also providing sufficient land payments and rents to sustain the project's operations. And our efforts were recently recognized by the Environmental Protection Agency, with T-Mobile ranking #3 behind just Microsoft and Google on the EPA's national top 100 list of companies leading the way in their use of green power. With 5G, we're also seeing increased efficiencies in our network, resulting in less consumption of energy per petabyte of traffic on our network. On a data throughput basis, we've increased efficiency by over 14% since 2019. And we're working with our vendors like Ericsson, who you just heard from, to improve that even further. And we expect more to come in the years ahead. But that's just a start for how 5G technology can make a positive impact on sustainability and climate change. It's one thing within T-Mobile's own operations, which is just one impact. But really, what's more transformative about 5G is how 5G is helping transform industries that have historically been much larger contributors to emissions, such as transportation, energy, manufacturing, agriculture, and so on. Today, businesses of all sizes are building innovative new solutions aimed at creating a more connected and sustainable world. So for example, in transportation, which we talk about a lot in this area, 5G is solving real challenges by making driving more efficient and thereby reducing emissions. BMW recently launched their first 5G connected car running on the T-Mobile network. And a startup car service called Halo is running on our 5G network in Las Vegas, and they're working to reduce traffic congestion and increase adoption of electric vehicles. And for 5G to have a meaningful impact in the transportation industry, you really need a dense, ubiquitous 5G footprint. These are not solutions that are built for spotty millimeter wave coverage networks. You need ubiquitous coverage, just like both the extended range and ultra capacity 5G networks that I talked about. Smart cities are also part of the transportation solution, moving to more energy efficient infrastructure and transportation systems. Peachtree Corners in Georgia is a 500-acre smart city that's powered by T-Mobile 5G, where developers are building autonomous vehicles, industrial drones, and smart city infrastructure like traffic signals that communicate directly with connected vehicles. And that's where a powerful mid-band 5G network like our ultra-capacity 5G really shines, being able to blanket a city with the capacity and coverage needed to fully power 5G applications and solutions. In agriculture, too, farmers are using 5G to create more food using fewer resources, less fertilizer, less water, less pesticides. We have, for example, the 5G Food Resiliency Project in Washington State that's developing solutions for green farming using more resilient supply chains. And meanwhile, out west, we see 5G solutions being used to help protect our forests. A wildfire detection company in California is developing a 5G solution using artificial intelligence to detect fires early and protect forests, people, and property. And these are great examples of how that low-band, extended-range 5G network that I described is powering applications previously unreached in rural and remote locations. So innovation like this is critical, and enlisting third parties into the fold to try to build on a 5G network is essential to the future of 5G and to improvements in our economy, improvements in sustainability, just like it was in 4G, where we built the networks and all sorts of innovations came on top of that. And so we've launched a number of initiatives working directly with startups and entrepreneurs to help fuel those 5G developments, including those focused on environmental sustainability. For example, we have what we call our Tech Experience 5G Hub, which is a brand new 24,000 square foot technology innovation center in Bellevue, Washington, where partners of all sizes can access new 5G capabilities working right alongside T-Mobile engineers. And we have the T-Mobile Accelerator, which is our incubator for 5G innovators. And we co-founded the 5G Open Innovation Lab, where we partner with other tech companies like Microsoft and Intel, Nokia and Ericsson, among others, to help startups and developers build emerging applications to layer onto these 5G networks like ours. So to sum up, it's more clear now than ever how critical connectivity is to nearly every aspect of our lives. Every single day, Americans increasingly demand the ability to connect to the internet for communications with family, with coworkers, for healthcare, schooling, entertainment, and much, much more. At T-Mobile, we're now a much bigger and better company with the wherewithal and resources to bring 5G to nearly everyone in the United States. We've built the largest, fastest, advanced 5G network in the country, and it's fueling innovation and competition, transforming industries and lifting up communities that were previously left behind. The past 2 years since our merger have really shown the enormous benefits of bringing those two companies together, just like Neville predicted when he appeared before you 3 years ago. And the best part of it is we're just getting started. We've just scratched the surface. We're just getting going, and there's a lot more to come. So keep an eye out. And with that, thank you all very much for your time and listening to me.